3.
Got it.
Got it. Cool. All right,
Good.
we'll go ahead and record this. All right. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, Mr. Banks, coming at you live with another trade, or coming at you live with Sunday Stock Watch. Not a trade recap, Sunday
Uh,
Stock Watch. It is Sunday, as you guys know, along with no risk, no premium. We host Sunday Stock Watch every single Sunday, same time, 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST. What we do here is we go over any earnings for the week, any economic data for the week, and then our top watches and top picks for the week so you guys can get prepared and hopefully make some money with us over this coming week. So thank you guys for joining us.
yeah, absolutely. What's up, guys? Happy Sunday. Appreciate you guys coming out. Justin, thanks for the intro. Happy Sunday, guys. Hey, we have a huge week coming ahead of us this week. Like Justin just said, we have major data, FOMC, and we have some major earnings. We got a lot of blue chip, some of the Magnificent Seven or Supreme Seven, whatever the fuck you want to call them, some big names hitting. And so, right before we even get into it, I want to stress this a lot. And Justin and I were talking about this earlier today of the anticipation of earnings and data and all this stuff that's mixed together can cause very tough trading conditions. Okay. So I'm not saying it's going to be the toughest trading week ever. There's nothing sure in the market. But if there's a week when you have a ton of data like this, a ton of, earnings to clump together, and then Powell's speaking, and you still have economic data around the remainder of the week, things can get tough. So this week, I want to just say this, guys. If there's ever a week for you to size down, right, to do less, it's probably going to be this week. This is the first week of the year that I do think chill, do less, make more all 2024, right? That's our little slogan we're going to coin. So I just want to start this call out with anything you do this week, move with intention. Okay. Don't just trade to trade. Don't just bullshit and follow someone else's lotto and whatever, right? If you're going to be selective about your setups, be selective about your trades and make it to the end of the week. And I think we'll have a very clear direction of where we're going to be heading out from here, especially with the start to earnings and then Powell, heavily awaited Powell rate hike decision or potential, future rate cut, right? So just want to start the call out with that. Hope everybody's on the same page. But like we said, go check the economic data to start. You see here Monday, we have nothing scheduled. Nice to see. Could kick off tomorrow with a big old nothing burger, nothing to worry about. Tuesday, no pre-market data. Well, technically, home price index 30 minutes for the open, but no major, 8:30 a.m. standard, 8:30 data. 10 a.m. We do have some data coming 30 minutes after the open, so let's pay attention. Tuesday, little post open data coming out, consumer confidence job opening. So 30-minute rule should be in effect for all of our small accounts peeps, especially Wednesday. Wednesday's the day rate hike decision. I would say this: if you don't even know what FOMC is, you don't even know who Jerome Powell is, definitely take that day off. Okay, because there's a reason why everybody is talking about this day. It's going to be very volatile. It is a tough day to trade. So if you have never even heard of it, I would say take the day off and we'll just watch for one day and then understand why that movement happens on that day. And then you understand. Anyone else here? For me personally, my rules on the FOMC day is one and done trading. See if you can get something in before Powell comes on, because anything that happens after is completely out of the control. I mean, I'll just say anything can happen, right? Anything can happen after Powell comes on. So that's what I'll be watching for is one and done trading. But 2 p.m. there. 2 p.m. is a big day. And then normal Thursday jobless claims. Normally see that. Then the data after non-farm payrolls will be big. So two big jobless claims jobs data back to back Thursday and Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, insane data. Then we got onto the earnings. I mean, everything up here is reporting except maybe a couple. I think like PayPal's the week after, Palantir, it's Pfizer. No, PayPal, Palantir. I think everybody else is reporting. Oh, Nvidia's on the 21st, is reporting this next week, right? So AMD, Microsoft, SoFi, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Alphabet. I mean, you guys could see, right? This whole week is a huge week, the 29th to the 2nd. Huge week this week. So let's definitely pay attention. If we mainly trade the stocks that are within the S&P 500 that all are basically reporting this week, then it's going to be pretty volatile. There's going to be lots of fake outs. There's going to be insane premiums on these individual tickers, right? Because we know when earnings come up or big data events come up, you get a surge of implied volatility. Okay. And that's going to raise the price or the premium of your contracts, right? So you're going to be paying more expensive premiums. So you're not going to get the great moves on the premiums per se. Better to play a lot of these names after, right? After the earnings comes out, the IV crush comes, they call it. Basically, IV comes back down to earth and things are priced normally at that point, and they're a lot cheaper. You get things on discount at that point. So just note and put all of your notes into all of the earnings that are coming out this week. Okay, on to the charts. I always start off, guys, personally. I trade a lot of ESF futures, which is the S&P 500. We trade SPY, QQQ, and IWM. I go over those three. That's kind of market wide for me. And then I have some individual names, some swings I will be looking at this week. And I will tell you this, when it comes to any swings this week, knowing that we have POW Wednesday, knowing we have a ton of big blue chip earnings, anything you get into for a swing starting this week should be an absolute starter. You should be sizing for 0 here. Okay. Because lots can happen on Wednesday. Okay. Lots can happen on Wednesday. All right. But onto the charts, looking at the ESF, this is the S&P 500 futures here, 48.91. I mean, it's as simple as that. We are just balancing. If you look at this 4-hour chart, we go balance, rip, balance, rip, balance. Okay. And if we remember what I talked about on, I think it was Thursday night, we have a similar pattern happening here. We had this burst higher and then some balance, new high, okay, drop, float higher, and then drop. Okay. So we have the push higher, the balance, that would be like this balance. We had a push higher into highs, almost the same thing. Big red candle drop, big red candle drop, float up to highs again, float up to highs. Do we get our pullback? I don't know, but I'm not going to come out tomorrow and be like, we're shorting the piss out of the entire market at the open. That's not what that means. But if any pattern plays out very similarly, we could see a move back down into some sort of demand or a bounce zone. And honestly, this big balance that we had playing out down here, this 48.41 is likely to get tested. When? I don't know. Okay, but I'll be waiting long here. So my most high probability setup long on the markets is going to be this back test of 48.41 because this is going to be demand out of this balance. I think we back test here and likely head higher. Okay, but if 48.91 holds for 15 minutes on the open tomorrow, then I'm likely going to be looking to the upside because that trade has worked out every single time it's gone into it. So until that fails, 48.91. Now, underneath 48.91, I do believe there is a short setup. It's very high risk, though. It's very high risk because you got about 20 points of downside. Underneath here, that's when you see the move back down to 48.41. Okay, so 48.41, that's going to be my most highlighted level. I love this level. I'll be patient for it, but I'll be waiting to snipe long here to the upside. 48.91 we'll be watching overnight and into the morning. Okay, let's go to the SPY chart. Going to look almost identical to the ES chart. Why? Because it is the cash ETF of the S&P 500. Okay, and we can see the same thing, right? This 485. This is like that 48.91 that we just talked about on ES. Every time we dip into 485, it bounces. So that's where we'll be watching overnight, right? Makes sense. Okay, underneath there, you do have a short setup down to about 483. Okay, but watch for the bounce. I mean, we bounced down there last time. Under there, that's the safer short if you want to have a, safe. If I can say safe, nothing's safe in the market, but if I can say safe, you can see we can have a move back down to 480, which was the back of that old balance zone. That's like 48.41 on ES. 478 to 480. I will be watching that, okay, for a back test. If we can see the balance here a little bit better. Okay, there you go, right? Balance, break out of the balance so we get the back test, right? Lots of lines here. Just focus on the numbers I'm talking about, all right? 478 to 480. That's my most high probability long zone. But if we hold 485 on the open tomorrow, we'll look to get long from there. 490 over 490, 500. I'm just going to keep the numbers easy. I think everybody's thinking it. 500 will be that big psych level. I think we get there. All right. On to the QQQ chart. Not looking quite as strong as SPY did on Friday. Okay. Tech getting a little weak. Is it because people are speculating for earnings, getting out of positions? I don't know. But the 4-hour chart actually looks a lot cleaner here. Okay, we can see here 423. 423 is held on some dips into this zone. So we'll watch here. But really, the short trade is underneath 420. 420 plays it safe. We got a nice room to fall to 416, 413. 413 would be like that 480 SPY, right? 48.41. The back test of that old balance and then go. I would like to see if we can get back down to this old balance zone and go back test 413. That's my most high probability long. Okay, but we got to get under 420 for us to even sniff 417, 413. Okay, so until then, 423, 420. Those are two bounce zones you're going to want to watch. Okay, before we can make our way down lower. IWM. Does it play catch up to the other two indices? I don't know. Does small caps get a rotation? I don't know. But what I can see forming here, right, was, if you guys remember, so give you a lesson on balance and then demand back test. Balance, rip higher, back test of the top of the balance, which is demand, and rip higher. Okay, now we bounce back up, and now we're balancing again in here, right? And if we note here, this 193.50 we talked about all last week, we sniped this thing twice off the bottom. It produced 40 to 60% both times, right? Do we go for the hat trick again down here? I would likely like to do it at 193. You get the gap fill, you get this little tiny balance that was filled out for a couple days, right? You get a back test. So we have balance, break out of the balance, back test, get back into the balance. Okay, so we get this full back test on the daily. I would likely get back in at 193. I like that zone down there. Or you can watch for this break, 198.50, right? I mean, look at this. 198.50 is a clear path to 202. From there, you guys remember we have the Friday calls for 200. Friday calls for 200. So that's what we've been scalping in and out. Those have been producing great moves. So I love this chart here again, right? I want to see possibly 193 and then bounce up, or we can watch for this break over 198.52. The upside. Some swings I will be watching, like I just said, guys. Obviously, we know that anything going to be swung this week. Let's size the heck down, knowing of the volatility that can come. All right. First swing I will be possibly looking to get into, okay, given market conditions, is Starbucks, right? So maybe whatever morning I decide to go get a nice latte, that'll be the morning it happens. No, I don't know, right? But we can see very nice bull flag on the weekly playing out. 90 level is huge. Shout out. It's either east to west or Brandy Ovis or Surf Force. Somebody gave me this. If you are in here, identify yourself, please, so I can give you credit. They said, look at Starbucks. Love it. 90 level is what I'm going to be looking. Huge put open interest on the 90s and likely could be dealer holding, right? So if that level wants to hold 90, I like lots of confluence down here. You guys can see old balance, breakout, back test of this balance, and we can see this flag kind of starting to play out here. So I'm going to be watching the 90 area. Okay. I'll be watching the 90 area. Justin called out. Shout out Justin, as I should have knew that. Thank you, Justin. Watching Starbucks here. Love Starbucks. 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. Get it tattooed on your palm, on your forehead, wherever. Tell your wife to text you first thing as the market opens and say, watch for Starbucks 90. Love March or April calls there. 95 or $100 strike. Look great to me. Okay. Next one. Goldman Sachs. This is a very high risk trade. Okay. You guys can see huge balance been forming here, but we're flagging again at the top. Now, the last time we flagged up here, we did come down, but we're flagging for weeks up here now. So lots of balance getting, or lots of balance being made, right? Lots of balance being made. So I like higher risk, 70 to 72 to start a possible swing higher, but you can watch this gap on the daily to fill and take your trade down there. These are expensive contracts. I would say this is more large account focus. These aren't cheap, especially if you're buying time. It is not going to be cheap. Okay, but 70 to 72, like this area, if we can, watch for the move back to a 390, possibly even 400 above there. But I'll be looking at March calls here as well on Goldman Sachs. And then I think last but not least for me, Nike. Nike is looking good here. Let's look on the weekly chart. Okay, we can see on this weekly chart. Let me zoom in. There you go. 99 to 100. That's a big level in there. Lots of open interest on the puts here at the $100 strike. There is high open interest on the 95s as well. So be cognizant of that, right? That was where this thing dipped down, immediately came right back up. So likely if we buy time, these contracts are not too expensive. I like April, and I would likely use 90 as add down spot or even a stop loss here, but do what's best for your account always. Okay. Do not oversize this trade, but if we hold 99 to 100, I'm looking back to the upside. This weekly chart, this is actually a gap here on the daily, as you can see right there. So long as 99 to 100 holds, I'll be looking for this move right back on up into 110, 120 area. Loving Nike here. Guys, that's all I got. Justin, actually, let me ask you real quick, Justin. I just saw this float around. I don't know if I saw this. There's a 42% short interest here on Upstart. I haven't charted it. I will chart it later tonight. I'll get it out to those that are in the Discord with us, my ideas on it. But is this on your watch list at all, Justin? I didn't even look.
It was not.
It was not. Okay, fine.
No, yeah, so
That's
you're
cool.
good.
I'll do some charting, guys. I'll get this for you a little bit more of a detailed breakdown on this one, but I am loving this chart as well here to the upside on Upstart. Dude, huge short squeeze, a short squeeze candidate, 42%. Think about it as like a Carvana. Remember, we were playing Carvana a while ago. Huge short squeezes. Love to see it. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you. Justin, what do you got for us, brother?
What's going on, guys? Like I said, there's a lot of tech earnings, and as we know, we love to play Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, right? All the names that we play on a daily basis have earnings this week. And my rule is to not play anything that has earnings that week. So it kind of puts us in a bind because everything we play is having earnings. And I kind of have a rule that I don't play anything that has earnings the same week, right? So this week is going to be it could be really tough. It actually could be really smooth and easy.
Yep.
Don't really know, but error to caution. I'm definitely gonna be risking light, risking off.
Mm.
Um, I would probably just take the week off if it wasn't for you guys. I'd probably go on vacation and not even trade.
Mm.
But I'm here with you guys, so I have a responsibility to do. So I'll be here. But yeah, I'd risk off, risk light this entire week. You know, if we catch some good moves, we catch some good moves. If not, very possible we can two things can happen. We could have some really nice moves that happen this week, or we get very rangy coming into earnings. As we know, we've seen it time and time again, especially with these big earnings, is we get kind of a decent move in the morning and then things just sort of range out and the action, no volatility, action's kind of flat until
Mm-hmm.
after the earnings happen.
The
So
good old premium burn, you know?
yeah, so just keep that
Yeah.
in mind this week that there is a big possibility that we could just sit here and range out while all these earnings happen. But these are my top watches when we're not trading the Mag 7. These are some names that I'll be watching this week that I'll try to trade because they don't have earnings. Airbnb is gonna be my not number one. My first one for tonight is 151.50. Let me guys take you out here. You guys can see we had extreme strength here to end Friday. Nice little news catalyst that came out. Breaking structure here, kind of breaking two structures, one right here, one over here, right? Breaking market structure. So this is something that we want to see, especially when, say, we're looking for a reversal or we're looking for continued strength. We want to see some break of structures here, and we cleared two of them. The next one would be up here at 155. So we can see here on the bigger picture what is going on with Airbnb. Now coming back down, what I'll be watching for this week is that break and hold over 150, which would be the high on Friday. Over that, we have nothing but room back into this 155 area. Obviously, we'll play it by ear, right? Don't just automatically think we're going to go straight to 155, but the next major level there would be 155 over this 151.50. In all reality, I'd be looking at this 152.50, and then we kind of have some space between 153 and then 155. So it'll be 152.50, 153, 155 would kind of be my areas of interest if we do play a break and hold over this 151.50 level here on Airbnb. Looking for a back test right into where we had sellers and buyers kind of little balance zone right here. Be 146, 147, back test into this hold to take us back up. So looking for 147, 146 back test if we do decide to sell off a little bit, looking for a bounce in this area to ride back up, or this 150, 150 to ride into again around 152.50, 153, and then ultimately 155 to the upside here on Airbnb. Next on the list is going to be DraftKings. Showing some strength, as we know, right? Football season, probably one of the reasons why this thing is printing. But we're coming up into this big 40 level. So this week I'll be watching 40 for a break and hold into about 44, 44 into 47. The one thing I want to show you guys, if you guys watch my videos, you always know, look at the higher time frames. What are they showing us? You can kind of technically say this is a bullish engulfing if you want to include the wicks of the previous. So if we take a break and hold of the top, again, that 40 level is right on the money that we found on the lower time frame on the 4 hour. So we come back to this monthly. we can see we have a nice little imbalance to fill up into 47. So if we do break that 40 level, that is what I'll be watching this week, a break and hold over 40, interim into that 44, and then 47 over 47, obviously into this 50 area after that. But looking pretty strong here for a nice little continuation to the upside. If you want to look for anything to the downside, looking for around 36 level, 37, 36 level. Lowest is that 36. We could see it would be the retest of this major resistance that we broke out of. We're looking to about 37 into 36 for a retest and then go, or again, over that 40 level, have some room into 44 and 47, as you guys can see here. But yeah, definitely double top, but we are flagging out a little bit here. But if we do break, we could see that big imbalance on the monthly time frame. So that is something to always keep in mind, is always look at the bigger picture. Always look at the higher time frames. What are they showing us? What are some possible moves that can happen? We can see a big imbalance to fill all the way up to 47, and we do have some strength showing on the monthly. I know it's about to close next week, but we could see a push. What could happen, since we are closing next week on this monthly, we could get a little push down right into that level that I was talking about, 37, 36. We hold, and then the next monthly candle comes back up and takes out these highs and finally finishes that imbalance. Just a little something to keep in mind when you are charting and thinking about creating trade plans. Next on the list is going to be Mara. Coming back down, we had some big push in this demand finally. I think this is 21% short flow as well. So we do have a little bit of a squeeze that can happen here on Mara. We can also see here that we have this nice big gap on this volume profile. Now, these gaps can act like any kind of gaps, right? They can get filled very, very quickly when we have low volume pushes. What I'll be watching this week is 1907. That's going to be my big, big level to watch. Not only is it lining up with the actual chart, right? We could see this wick here with the actual chart where we fell down to about 1450, but it actually lines up perfectly with the volume profile. So this is kind of a good confluence when we have something that lines up so perfectly like this. 1907 would need that break and hold. If we do, we can fill this gap pretty quickly up into 22. But my watches I'll be is 20, 21, and then 22. Really, I know it's just 1 points, but we could see on the chart that those are the areas of interest that we could see the back test into any support, turn resistance, support, turn resistance, and then finally to the top here into 22. But 1907, that's going to be my big, big level. Just call it 19 to break and hold to the upside, reject back down. But 19, 19, 19. Also watching for a back test into this nice demand into about 17 level here. Nice little back test into about 17 to hold as well. Next on our list is going to be, oh, one thing to keep in mind as well is to see the volume. We can see on the daily some increase here on this drive up that we saw last Friday. So we are seeing some increase in volume, which is nice to see, right? Nice to see that we are finally getting some increase in this demand. So nice little confluence there as well. See if that continues to increase over this next week here. I think if Bitcoin holds and not crypto itself holds and crypto starts pumping this week, we can also get that pump in with Mara and Coin, which I'll bring up next, right? Same idea. We have this big resistance, turn support, nice resistance, support flip here. Also nice little demand hold. More of a range than Mara, right? It doesn't have that high short float that Mara does. So I think that's why Mara pushes a little bit more. It has a little more volatility because it is shorted heavily. Nice little range here though. What I'll be watching this week is a break and hold over this 129. Really, I like 130 just a little bit better to call it safe. 130 break and hold here. For break and hold 130, I'll be looking for a move into about 132. 132, I'll be looking to move into about 134 and obviously into 139. But watching this 129, you could call it 130. Break and hold, we have room into 134, 139. Over 139, nothing but room into 158. So really big room there if we do break this 139, 140 level to the upside. But let's see if Coin can also kind of get that move that Mara did and we break and hold over these levels. But 134, 139 will be my watches to the upside. Also watching a 117 a hold. I want 120 to 117 a hold if we do have a little back test. And we also have some increase in volume as well here on coin on the daily. Last but not least, I have Disney, right? We've been watching this flag breakout here on Disney, watching 96.50 break and hold to the upside. You can also use 97 though. 97 might be a little bit better level to use here on the break and hold, just so you don't get caught off sides. But 96.50, 97, looking for a break and hold. Nothing but room. It's about 100 and 102. I do think if Disney wants to get going, it can see 100, 102. So this might be another good one to try to start another swing. I know we swung this one already, but I think we could probably take another swing here. Looking for this to break out into that 100 level. I think it is ready to go. But Disney is one of those where it pops up, pops back down, pops up, pops back down. So you guys can see that swings most likely look better. I mean, if you can catch it on a strong day, be a good day trade, but definitely more of a better swing type of trade stock. So when we're looking at stocks and looking at personalities, we always want to zoom out and look at, what kind of personalities do they have? Are they a stock that are they typically nice and trending, or do they make a lot of pops, a lot of pullbacks, and then pop, pull back, pop, pull back? Disney's one of those that, always pops, pulls back, pops, pulls back. I mean, we can see it time and time again. Definitely looks like a better swing candidate than a day trade. But again, if you catch Disney on a strong day or a weekday, if we take it short, can see a big move on that day. But we can see here the personality of Disney is pop, short, pop, short, pop, short. So definitely a swing candidate. So a little education for you guys is to always look left, look at the personality of the stock. Is this more of a day trade type of stock, or is this more better suited for swings? Disney's one of those, in my opinion, is better to take a swing on than to try to day trade it, because of the personality that it likes to pop, likes to pull back, pop, pull back. I mean, over and over and over again. So that means buying time, letting for the trade to play out, is the better move when it comes to Disney. But again, 96.50, 97, break and hold. We can see 100 would be that big psych level, and then 102 to the upside here on Disney. Last but not least, I do have one up my sleeve. Enphase. So what I like about this is this can go either way, right? This can go either way. But what I do like about this is we broke structure to the upside here, right? We had a break of structure to the upside and a nice pullback. And now what we're seeing on this pullback is a pullback really into this demand level right here. So what I'll be watching for this week is watching for at least 100 to hold, right? We were at 105 right now. Really would prefer 102. This level down here, I think, is 101.60 level. Let me see exactly what it is 101.52 would be the low right here. So I really want that to hold. But we can see we broke structure to the upside. We're coming back down, sitting into this demand. Does this demand hold and then have another move higher? Very, very possible, right? Very, very possible. We did break swing lows. We came out, break of structure to the upside, coming back right into the man. And now we're holding here. So really watching 101.60 down to 100. Line in the sand will be this 98 level though. We'll be watching anywhere, I guess, from 105 down to 98 for it to hold. Possible swing candidate as well here on ENPH. Again, this week, guys, risk light, risk off. Data, FOMC coming out, lots of data, lots of tech earnings. I mean, every single tech earning is essentially coming out this week. So let's just take it easy. Take it easy. We'll get through this week, and then we can start to put on size after this week happens.
All right, guys, you heard it there first, right? Big week this week. One and done trading is all you need. Okay, we'll see you guys bright and early for the pre-market huddle, 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Discord. We'll catch y'all then.